Hey all, Frogleaf here. Today we're going to give you some pro tips about music map builds. Get a lot of requests to help people put a song in their maps. My default answer is no. These things take a lot of time, lots of planning, lots of building, and lots of testing. So don't be offended, I just don't take these requests lightly. That said, I do love building these. Now up to 7 rooms in the Notes community world. But it is expensive, and again, they take forever. So let's get started. It's helpful, but not required to have a music background. Sheet music or playing an instrument or even singing. If you don't, you can still figure this out and you'll be playing by ear. Very much still possible, but instead of being able to like read an existing song, you'll hear something and then you'll try to repeat it on your instrument. In this case, that's the Yeeps note blocks, these bad boys behind me, right? You can also use the organ or the bell blocks. I wouldn't recommend the drums. They're a little too fragile. They break. But first of all, we need to kind of check that you have the right capabilities of your instrument, these blocks, right? First question is, do you have all of the paints? Don't. I highly recommend that you get them, even though it is super expensive, but going well. You don't normally need glowing paints, some coins there. But if you are missing a color, you could copy it from somebody else's map. But it's a pain if you have to use that same color. Copy a couple of times. Next thing that you need for your instrument is at least the all wire. This is the one that kind of star that has the 6 inputs, outputs. I recommend the time pulse delay and then a button or some type of pulse generator. You can use confetti cannons, party blocks, but it's not as versatile, it's not as easy. And that's all you need. And your instrument, okay? Your instrument is going to... Next step, obviously, is to choose a song. Keep it simple and short. Good news is that the note block pitches span about 2.5 octaves. That's 27 official paints, counting the globe. So it's 27 different notes, a couple more that you can copy if you have some. It's impressive for a game that's really not about music. It should cover almost all of the melodies of songs that are out. Complicated the song you choose, the bigger chance you're going to be missing some notes, especially when you're adding harmonies. 2 or more at the same time. I like to create a piano or a line of the note blocks so that you can see and or play them with your hand or some type of bat. This really helps to remember the order of the paints, and for those that can't read music, to try and match your song by hitting the blocks, like do this like in real life too, without but then play back kind of what you're hearing so that you know which blocks to put in. You can also reference this image found on the Yeeps wiki or on the Yeeps music server Discord. But what I like to do, go over one of these in one of my maps, and I'll show you this. Now, if you don't read music, the next step I would recommend is to make a separate chain of note blocks in order of song. Rhythm or the timing is not as important yet, but having them in the order makes it so much easier to your music framework. If you do read the music, I very much recommend finding a simplified version of your song or even creating one with a notation app. I'll use MuseScore. I'll put the description. And make that song in the key that fits the available note. Notation apps can also usually transpose a song if it's not the right key. And this will give a blueprint to build your music map. And it's usually much faster than trying to remember or talking by too fast. So here's an example that I will be building here shortly. Okay, this is a more complicated song with harmonies, but it's still simple, and we're only going to do one verse of the song to keep it short. Next will be the timing or the rhythm of the notes in the framework. I'm going to show you this. All right, so the framework can look just about like anything here, right? But we're going to have our buttons, our wires, and then our note blocks. Okay? I've done, if you place these notes on a wires right next to each other, they're too fast. They're going to sound like this. Okay? So we need to space them out. The fastest notes I usually place, the fastest notes of my song, I'll usually place about 2 to 4 wire spacings apart, and I like to set up a framework of maybe something like an all wire, a tiny delay, an all wire, a tiny delay, etc. Depending on how fast we need to go here. So see here we've got wires, delays, we've even got delay, and then our, so we'll see that if our song goes really fast, we could do it that fast. Again, these are for the fastest notes in your song. A little slower is the one I most commonly use, and then just a little bit slower to build our framework. All right, the framework can look just about like anything. I've done a boxed up framework that you'll see like in my app. You can do a wrap around the outside of the framework, like my water house or the 3-hour tour maps. And then lately, my personal favorite is to do a spiral framework that I'll sometimes shift above the map. Let's get building the framework. Now we'll put in the notes. At Quest 3, you can use the multitasking to be able to show your song or piano reference while you're building so that you don't have to look through or keep jumping back. Reference things like this. And there you have it. The song is done. You can go build something around it, make it look good, and let other people see it. Try to keep it to one short song and not too crazy of a map, as these things can get incredibly laggy hardware, but awesome maps.